For what we've been watching this week, I figured let's just get through the one that I think we both made the trek out to theaters for. One
Yep.
that,
Yep.
look, I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. I did the whole rewatch. I was excited for it. And I guess that's my fault for thinking that I was going to get what the trailer promised. Zach, Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah. Jurassic World Dominion. I don't know, because I've never been like a huge fan of this series. Yes, the first movie is like very good, but it very quickly goes south. And I don't know. I've just never been on the Trevorrow trilogy. It's always felt like a miscalculation of what made the first one good. There's a return to some of the like just needless brutality that he liked to feature in the first one here. And it mostly kind of just was a bunch of nonsense plot, right? Like I just sat there listening to a lot of people go back and forth about DNA and about cloning and about but these guys brought the dinosaurs back to life for a different, and it just all feels like mumbo jumbo to get to boring scenes that don't other scenes that don't work.
You don't like the human characters? This cast right here isn't, the standout reason why you got to go watch these movies?
I can barely remember their names, man.
There was a review, a scathing review that came out. It was so good, the guy had to go back and in his tags put the review. He practically refers to them as Owen? ? Claire? ? But they said something in that review that I want to quote here. The movie is dino adjacent. And I think that is like the biggest problem with the film. It lies to you that it's about dinosaurs, that this whole build up from Jurassic World, the first one, which I thought is decent. Jurassic World 2 has great direction. I hate the storyline, but it was meant to build up to this final conclusion, this crazy thing where they're going to bring back for the first time all the actors from the original. And it's supposed to be Jurassic World where they're taking over a Dominion, and they're like, nah, we're just going to jump forward and all that stuff that we didn't show you in the trailer. This really is about locusts, and there's this like Biosyn, Apple-like Tim Cook CEO who's like taking over stuff. And I'm not against a storyline like that. But that's not what y'all pitched. This story is about dinosaurs.
It's so stupid. This is they finally like have dinosaurs leave the park, leave the island. There are dinosaurs in the real world, and we spend the entire time focusing on Apple TV and bugs. Like
literally.
What is the deal with this?
I don't get it. There's moments in the movie that I'll say, if you're a big just going in it for the dinosaurs and you don't care about the story. I think that's the big problem. That's the big rift.
Well, yeah.
Some people don't care about the story of it. They just want to see the spectacle of it. I got to see this in Dolby. I think it lives up to the spectacle. It's not perfect, but I think out of the 3 Jurassic World movies, they do a lot of mixture of practical effects and CGI effects, and I think it works very well for a lot of the scenes that they have. But there are moments where there's like a dinosaur trying to sniff Bryce Dallas Howard's butt, and I don't understand why it's doing that, because I go home and I see someone venting in my comment section talking about how that specific dinosaur is an herbivore. So that makes you think, not only should it be able to smell Bryce Dallas Howard getting into the water, but if it's a herbivore, what is it doing? Is this the Joker dinosaur that Colin Trevorrow was talking about? It makes absolutely
I don't think even
no
was that
sense.
one.
It's supposed to be the Giga one that they have. Yeah, so I don't know. A lot of the
that's
set
the
pieces
thing.
Just don't go anywhere.
I think I realized that this is not a movie that's meant to be enjoyed by discerning adults. This is a movie that's meant to be watched with your like 9-year-old nephew who points at the screen and is like, "That's the iguanodon." It's like, "Thank you." That is the iguanodon. I get it. It's like kind of cool to see the dinosaurs on screen, but like you mentioned, there's kind of like no real connection made with a lot of them in the way that like it has been in the past. And I'm not talking about like an emotional connection, just even like a connection in terms of stakes, in terms of like why we care about this thing rather than it's just the latest 5-minute set piece, right? Like there's a big matchup between the Gigadon or whatever Joker dinosaur Trevorrow came up with and a couple other dinosaurs towards the end of the movie, which should be like the big heightened climax. And it kind of just feels like, all the people that we've been spending time with are watching like a little fight go on in the it's like there's no connection between what's happening with the dinosaurs and what the human characters are going through.
None.
It's all about what the human characters are going through, and I don't care what the human characters are going through.
We don't.
Yeah.
You know those moments where they finally focus on Blue? If they had the balls to actually make a movie where you're just focused on that animal, your whole thing about dino rights, they should be able to exist here too. One, that's not possible. There's going to be violence, but imagine if they actually had good storytellers that would have been able to do something with just like the dinosaur perspective that would require actual filmmaking. So instead we get Chris Pratt, who thinks he's in a Taken movie. They did my girl Dallas
right.
Terrible. She's just a housewife in this one. She's literally chucking corn, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
They have her at home chucking corn, which I'd watch an hour of, but that's not the point of her action, like, superhero pose in this. What did you think of the original cast?
I kind of feel like they were just there. I don't feel like they had a whole lot asked of them. I don't feel like they invested a whole lot in this. Jeff Goldblum in particular gives a very kind of like blah, just reading my lines performance. It felt half baked to me. There's even that moment that is in the trailers with Sam Neill and Chris Pratt saying "Don't move," and they don't even say it at the same time. Like, couldn't they get another take?
You're talking about the Scooby-Doo sequence where they're all just going like this, trying to run away from the dinosaur.
Yep.
Look, I'm more disappointed. I think you had no expectations to it. I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. I watched all 6 leading up to this one, so I got a lot of the references. A lot of them don't make any sense. It's clear that they want to expand this universe. I smell prequels in the future with a certain clone character that they have in this. I know they want to make it as big as possible, but I'm just tired of Colin hating being in franchises and directing franchise movies.
Right.
It makes no sense to me. But yeah, that's Jurassic World. I don't know. What did you end up giving this one, dude?
I mean, I gave it 1.5 because I was just miserable watching it. Like I had to convince myself to go sit through it because even the people who I feel like should be sympathetic or kind to this movie were mixed at best. So I knew I was never really going to enjoy myself.
Catch it. It topped 2 weekends in a row, and we'll get right now how it did with the box office in Lightyear.
Financially successful.
If you just want to see the spectacle, I'm not going to deny that. Go see the spectacle for you want. It's over 2 hours. I don't think it needs to be. But Zach described, it's like a movie definitely geared for like kids who just want to see like the big dinosaurs roar. So then what's the point of the locust, climate change, the food supply? That's not a storyline for them. And I think that they forget that in the original, you were able to combine a storyline about these dinosaurs who are able to survive and how you're trying to go against mankind with characters who are also kind of dealing with should they have children or not. Go back and watch the original. It still lives up to the hype. And I think the new one doesn't do it justice.